police officer John McClane.
Shit, but I'm right.
It's just another Christmas.
You're the wrong guy in the wrong place at the wrong time. Story of my life.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to, once again, another classic Bruce Willis review. Today I'm taking a look at 1990's Die Hard 2, Die Harder. This time around the film is directed by Rennie Harlan and stars, of course, Bruce Willis. We have Bonnie Bedelia, Reginald Val Johnson again, Franco Nero, William Sadler, John Amos and Dennis Franz. Right, okay, this is the sequel to the smash hit 1988 film, Die Hard. This time round, John McClane is at a Washington airport. He's there to pick up his wife, who's on a plane, who's about to land. Whilst there, he stumbles across some more terrorists who are planning to take over the airport because there is a plane in a few hours going to be landing at this airport with the world's biggest drug dealer aboard, and they are planning on taking over the airport so that the plane can land and then he can be rescued, this drug dealer. They didn't count on John McClane being at the airport at the same time, and he's not going to stand for this, especially because he is desperate to make sure that his wife's plane lands safely, as the terrorists have the power to crash these planes. Right, what are my thoughts on Die Hard 2? Well, I mean, this, if I'm being really honest, I mean, I really like this film. In regards to where it sits in my favourites in regards to the sequels, this is probably, I like Die Hard 3 is my favourite sequel, then I like the fourth one, and then this one, and then the fifth one. I don't know, there's something about this one that just kind of, it doesn't feel, I don't know really how to explain it. It's never really kind of massively floated my boat, this one. It does feel like they've tried to recreate the first one just at an airport, if you like. They're constantly making references to the first one. You know, his wife's in another situation sort of thing. It just feels like they're trying to hit the same beats of the first one, and they didn't need to. They just needed to, you know, put John McClane in a situation. That's what we want to watch, really. It doesn't have to be the same situation in a different location, but that's kind of what they do with this one. I think that's probably why it was a massive success. It did really well at the box office. I think it nearly doubled the gross of the first one. So, I mean, it was a huge success. And even Bruce Willis, I've read reports that, you know, he wasn't overly pleased with this one for the reasons I've explained as well. And he also wanted to play this one a bit straighter than he did in the first one. You know, he was very jokey in the first one, you know, one-liners, quips, you know, that famous Bruce Willis smile. And he was a bit more difficult on this one. He wanted to play it a bit straighter, but the director, Rennie Harlan, kind of pointed out to him, look, Bruce, they're coming to watch you be John McClane, be this character, the character that you gave them on the first film. So what they kind of agreed to is that they would do as many takes as kind of Bruce Willis wanted, the way he wanted to kind of do it, and then they would do the take as often as they could with him kind of doing the jokey line sort of thing, or making a quip, or a lighter approach to the line. And so that's how they tried to get as many in as they wanted, because he really didn't want to do it, Bruce Willis, and kind of give the same character in the first one. He didn't want to make a jokey character again. And I'm glad that we got you know, a similar characters to what we got in the first one, you know, in regards to some jokes here and there, and because it probably wouldn't have worked. I think if Bruce Willis had got his way and had approached this in a much more serious way, it wouldn't have worked, and it possibly could have killed the franchise, if I'm being honest. So I'm glad that we didn't get that. And everybody talks about whether the first Die Hard is a Christmas film. I think most people kind of accept it is now. but a lot of people dismiss the fact that this is also set at Christmas Eve, 1 year later. So this is a Christmas film as well. So nobody ever really talks about that, really. They just talk about the first one being a Christmas classic. Well, why isn't this considered a Christmas classic? It's a good film. It's a good sequel. And it just doesn't get mentioned in the same breath as the first Die Hard in regards to being a Christmas movie. I think there's a lot of good set pieces here because there's a lot of good shocks in this film. The shock where where the terrorists land the plane and blow it up, sort of thing, was very shocking. There's a good double cross in the film that I didn't see coming at the time. With the John Amos character betraying them and actually working with William Sadler's Colonel Stewart. This film suffers, I think, with a bit of a weaker bad guy. I mean, William Sadler, as great as he isn't no Hans Gruber, is he, at the end of the day? So I think the film suffered a little bit, but I mean, the film's a who's who in regards to up-and-coming actors in this. You had Robert Patrick turning up in this. You had John Leguizamo in this, prior to them kind of making it big. Obviously, Robert Patrick in T2, and then John Leguizamo a couple of years later on Executive Decision and things like that. So, I mean, it is quite interesting. You kind of recognise a lot of these faces when you're watching this film. And it's quite fun to kind of spot them. The setup's done quite well as well here, how they're kind of taking over the airport sort of thing. They've taken full control, and how John McClane kind of gets involved, spotting things out of the ordinary and this kind of stuff. And I mean, it's completely unbelievable in the sense of, I mean, even at the time in 1990, if the things happened in the airport, like what happened to Bruce Willis at the beginning of this film in the airport, where he kind of takes down them bad guys, and nobody takes it seriously. They don't treat it as a crime scene and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if these days the airport would just be shut down and everyone would just be sent home, probably. They'd be like, okay, there's no airplanes taking off today, thank you very much, go home. So it is kind of unbelievable in a sense that some of the things that happen in this, but it's an action film, so we're not really meant to be taking it seriously, are we? I enjoy the conclusion to this one as well. The fight on the airplane wing is again ridiculous, but undeniably a lot of fun, and that's the main thing you take away from this one. I mean, if the first Die Hard for me is a perfect action film, this comes up short in a few areas, and like I say, I think it is too similar to the first one. They're trying too hard at times to be the first one. They still do manage to pull off a very successful sequel and a very entertaining and watchable sequel, and it's wonderful to see Bruce Willis in this film. When you consider his current situation, I'm really enjoying revisiting some of his films in his filmography, and obviously his best character is John McClane, so very much enjoying revisiting the Die Hard series. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm probably going to be putting this up on Christmas Day, so have a lovely Christmas, or I hope you've had a lovely Christmas, and I will see you all very, very soon for plenty more content on the channel.